Hey everybody, it's Andy. Sorry, I got a little bit of a cold. So this episode gets just a little bit blue in the front, mostly within the first 13 minutes, and it's not that bad, and obviously we don't dwell on it. But if that's not your thing, or you find it triggering, you might want to skip to minute 13 or so, and then there's still going to be little jokes after that. But or if you find it triggering, maybe it's just not your thing. But heads up on that one. Thank you guys so much.
The Burros of Berea is a conversational podcast. We study the Bible and we talk about it.
Not all of us are of the same faith, and one of us doesn't actually have a faith.
And that's wonderful. We all love one another, and we're going to continue to talk about these things.
The things we believe in and the things we believe about what we read in the Bible. Not all of these are necessarily true. Some of it is opinion and speculation. Thank you for
listening and speculating with us.
There you go. That was good. Yes.
You are listening to the Burros of Berea.
Welcome back to the Burros of Berea. I am Rick Welch, and to my left is Charlton, whatever Tiziana thinks he's called.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
The Rickety Carter.
Oh, yeah.
Now we get both versions.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, ladies.
Tiziana, Mom So Hard, Subverse.
You're both going to get a timeout.
Behind the Glass, Rocket Man, Andy Bishop. Well, this is it. We don't have Billy, Ralph, Cherry, or Sarita tonight. And so it's just us in the studio. And so we decided to not touch on the Hebrew study because there's a lot to it. And we want to kind of hang together, or at least I want them all to hang together with me on it, and not leave them. So if you guys remember episode 11, we did this thing called taking scripture out of context. Andy called it an interlude, away from the big study that we were doing, the deep studies we were doing. And so just to have some fun. Well, there's a lot more. There's a lot more in the Bible. So we thought that we would have
Turns
some
out,
fun.
quite a big book.
It is.
Books.
Quite a big books.
Quite a big books.
Yeah. So I want to make a disclaimer, as I always do. We are not making fun of the Bible or your beliefs or Christianity. We are looking at these verses outside of its culture, outside of understanding the language and the way it was translated. Even when it was translated into King James English, things sound funny. I don't walk around saying peradventure very much, but when I read that Bible, I read it, And so we're going to be reading some funny verses out of context and having a laugh. And if this is not your cup of tea, then just turn us off because we're going to continue to do this stuff, okay? All right?
It's going to continue to be real sacrilegious love in here. For the next 1 hour, this is NSFW or NSFC, not safe for church.
Yeah.
Yes, I am not. I hope that it's not sacrilegious, but at the same time, I think I would love to believe that because I have a humor and I was created in his image, that God has a humor, and I think that he does. And as Robin Williams says, I know that he does, because look at the duck-billed platypus.
Right.
He said it's a mammal, but it lays eggs.
Well, there's a lot of people
And he flips the middle finger to Darwin.
There's a lot of people that get mad about Jesus telling jokes in The Chosen.
I think that people are kind of coming around to that because that guy does such a great job of being personable.
Yeah.
I think that's where it's at. He acts like a man.
Jokes are all about delivery.
Well, and
It
the
is.
thing is, the Son of Man came eating and drinking.
Yeah.
So Jesus liked to drink and Jesus liked to eat.
Yeah,
Jesus liked to get down with his
Tiziana,
friends
he
and
was
party.
drinking grape juice.
It doesn't matter. But the thing is that the fact that they said that about him is that was the
So you
gossip,
were already
that he was a
sacrilegious.
lush.
Yeah,
So
they called him a
Jesus
wine
loved
bibber
to
and a
sit around-
drunkard.
Right.
Yeah.
Jesus loved to sit around with his friends and jaw, as they say around these parts.
Andy, a long time ago when we did the Mary Magdalene study in notes,
Yes.
and you had said that big fish money. Do you remember saying that?
Yeah, he did that big fish money.
My
Yeah.
next study that's going to be coming out is
yeah.
called The Big Fish Money.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's going to be fun.
I'm excited.
I know.
Oh, wow.
I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Tiziana.
Sure you did.
I didn't,
I'm just
honestly.
kidding.
I'm just that kind of a
It's 'cause
jerk.
I'm not hot.
Let's kick this baby off.
Oh, never goes away.
I'm not even going to acknowledge it.
No, you shouldn't.
No, not at all.
Not today.
No. I told everyone in the world that Tiziana was hot, including my wife, without getting punched in the face.
I know, but it's so funny. It's
funny.
the gift that keeps on giving.
It gives it to you.
And I was like freshly postpartum at the time, so it was just a super double whammy.
It came back around.
Yeah.
Yeah, but somebody else said it after me, right? Didn't somebody else? Anyway, whatever.
I can't remember. It's been a consistent joke, and I never get sick of it.
Cherry.
Well, good.
Liz, my husband is very cute, so I'm pretty confident. Like it's fine, but it was so funny that I can't let it go. Every opportunity.
I think Cherry keeps bringing it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I you know what I think it is? I think that I'm not making an excuse, but I think like, watch this. Watch me piss off the other ladies.
Are you ready?
I'm going to piss off the other ladies. You're
Just
such a
even it
mental
out.
giant to me. Like when we talk, we are, that I see you as my equal. And so all of these other ladies are beneath me.
And they're not
I'm
here.
a dead man.
That doesn't. Holly's gonna get you for that one.
Oh, dang. I forgot about my
You
wife.
forgot. Holly's gonna eat you for breakfast on that one.
Yeah. All right.
No, but
so,
anyway, that was a nice attempt.
I was not
That's a good
here.
try.
It was, you know what? It was daring. And you know, it was a good, strong attempt. Absolutely.
It was absolutely.
So we're going to call her Tiziana, Mom, so hottie. So
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right?
There you go.
So why don't you look like you've got something. You brought something good?
I did. Well, I mean, I can remember being a small kid and I used to hide. I'm such a fucking nerd. I used to hide in the closet after everyone was asleep because that's the only place you could keep the lights on and nobody knew what you're up to. And I would read the Bible. So I remember
I used to do that with the dictionary, but not in the closet.
Such a nerd. But I remember sitting there one time and I read this verse.
See,
and
me,
I
it was more the Sears catalog.
Oh yeah, that's
lingerie
good.
section.
Yeah.
He's such a dude.
That's what you were reading in the closet.
I was looking at Lionel trains, and he's looking at ladies.
Well, you know.
Fredericks of Hollywood.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, Lord. Oh, my God. Anybody born after 1998
Oh, it's kinda
has no
funny.
idea what we're talking about.
There's also another one called Adam and Eve.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Adam and Eve goes to we start talking about the not cross, but X's.
Oh,
When
okay.
you get to
Oh,
Adam
yeah.
and Eve.
Adam and Eve, I don't think your average family had those necessarily
Okay. Oh, my
around.
gosh.
Like this Sears catalog, you did. Yeah.
Fredericks of Hollywood was like the first Victoria's Secrets.
Totally. But there is a Carol Wright catalog. Carol with a C, Wright, WRIGHT. The spring catalog. My friends got it just as a mailer in the mail. And it's terrible jackets and, bicycles. It looks like Sears. It's got sections. It's got the home goods section. And then there, you're going to beep a lot. Get prepared. and this showed up to my friend's house in Waynesville. It just came in the mail.
Like
So
Sky Mall?
Yeah, like Sky Mall. And it's got shovels and rakes for the outdoor materials. And in the absolute smack dab center, it's pillows and pocket ponies. No lie. We were flipping through this thing and we were like, whoa, just out of nowhere, just total raunchy sex toys out of nowhere. In the middle of this,
wild.
Google the Carol Wright catalog. And we looked it up online because we were like, this has got to be a joke. But it's all your home needs. Yeah. Every
Literally,
room in
everything
the
you
house
need,
is
huh?
covered, by the Carol Wright catalog. I mean, and the front cover is just some, older lady with a flowery, t-shirt and high-waisted skinny jeans and a pair of sandals. Carol Wright's catalog just serving up sex toys. I know. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's crazy.
I
I mean,
about
Martha
fell
Stewart
off my
living
bed.
offering stock tips.
Yeah. Although I'm sure she's got a few.
Oh, well.
Her relationship with Snoop Dogg is
It's
probably
so
my
cute.
favorite,
Oh my God.
favorite thing of
so endearing.
the 21st century.
It's
Absolutely.
it's almost like it's better than George Bush, Michelle Obama, but just as cute, right?
that's
Yeah,
just
that
cute.
one's really cute.
They're
That was
cute.
very cute. But I mean, it's just the fact that I don't think that Snoop's ever done time. Right?
No, he is not a convicted criminal.
No, he's a middle-class kid from California, right? And he's got this
I thought he
thug
had
life.
murdered somebody
no.
at 17.
He was not convicted. I don't know the actual details, but he's never been convicted of a crime.
Oh, wow.
Never.
That's the joke because
That's
she
why it's
has.
so funny. So
Yeah.
she's actually harder than Snoop.
Yeah, she's done
Because
time
she's actually
and been
done
convicted.
time. Yeah. Real time too. She didn't.
Yeah.
She's even an advocate now for prison
But didn't Snoop
reform
Dogg,
because she's like, it sucks in there.
wasn't there like a murder charge or
That's what we
something?
were just talking about. Not convicted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not
It's a
convicted. I
gospel
don't know the
album too, by the way.
details. Not convicted.
I mean, a young black male in, where is it, Watts?
Because I think he's saying
Was
about
he
it,
in
catch a
Watts or whatever?
case.
Yeah, he there's a couple songs about murder was the case that they gave me.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
The most
So
popular
what
and well
Bible
known.
verse have
Yeah.
you got, Tiziana? Let's see what
Y'all.
you got.
So Ezekiel, even just reading it, Ezekiel 23, 19 through 22, really.
Do it again.
So
Ezekiel?
Ezekiel 23, and really it's 19 and 20. Yet she multiplied her obscene practices, remembering the days of her youth when she prostituted herself in the land of Egypt. She lusted after their lovers, whose flesh is like the flesh of
Now
donkeys.
read it slower.
Whose flesh?
Seductive.
Sorry.
No, but for real, she lusted after their lovers, whose flesh is like the flesh of donkeys, and whose discharge is like the discharge of horses. So you
boy.
longed for the outrageous sin of your youth when the Egyptians handled your breasts because of the breasts of your youth.
Yeah.
They handled your breasts because.
Wow,
you
that
know,
is
of the
screwed up on
breastfeed.
so many levels.
I-
I've never heard that last little bit. The longed after your youth with the Egyptians.
Yeah. I threw my Bible and was like, God, you're in timeout. That is some racy language, sir.
Yeah.
And this is the NASB version. And so that one says, so you long, she lusted after the lovers whose flesh is like the flesh of donkeys. Flesh is not the word that my other Bible used. And whose discharge is like the discharge of horses. It was like whose emission.
Was it talking about
It's
his
like a donkey wiener.
Yeah.
It's like a big old donkey, and whose and whose emissions are like the gallons of semen that a horse. I was like, this is disgusting.
Yeah.
This is gross. I was like prepubescent, not sexual at all. I was like Sandra D. I didn't lose my virginity until I was an adult. Like, I was so horrified.
Wow.
Absolutely disgusting.
That's rough, isn't it?
It's quite the verse. Well, that Egyptian stuff is troubling too.
The young.
Well, not the young part. It like so.
Let's contextualize it for the
Okay.
heathen, so he's not so disturbed.
Okay,
He's talking about Israel when they were enslaved by Egypt.
that's what I'm saying. So if she was a Jew and she was a slave, and the Egyptians were touching her breasts,
Yeah.
that paints a bleak fucking story.
Yeah. Well, and what he's saying is that Israel he's talking
Prostituted
about
herself out to it.
Israel leaving fidelity with Hashem behind in favor of worshiping multiple gods at one time.
Uh-huh.
And the imagery that Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Isaiah, especially Jeremiah says some rough stuff. The imagery that they choose to use to
So this is not a literal woman we're talking about. That makes me feel better.
Yeah, no.
No, this
So
is
what
just
they're-
imagery.
Yeah. So
Aye.
what the picture that these prophets are using to try and shame Israel, to try and shock them, they're trying to use
The most vulgar
the most
stuff.
vulgar language they can because they're trying to describe how egregious their abandonment of their covenant with Hashem. It's not just a relationship; it's covenant, like a marriage.
Uh-huh.
And so, which was common.
Look at the story of Gomer and Hosea.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, we haven't even touched.
We haven't even
that
gotten
one.
there.
Yeah.
But like, so they use this imagery a lot. So it's so if you go to the beginning of Ezekiel 23, Ezekiel's telling the story of these two sisters, and these two sisters are like Israel, and they've done this and they've done this, and they utilize this imagery. And so when he's saying like the days of when she was in Egypt, he's saying, back when you were, enslaved in Egypt, and likely did participate in worshiping the gods there, and absorbed some of their cultural mores, or if you will.
Milieu? That's a
Yeah.
fun word. Is that right?
Yeah. Cultural milieu.
Well, I
Milieu.
said mores, but
No, I was.
Oh,
I was,
you are. You're just
I was
throwing that
going
in.
for a fun word,
Got
but
you,
different
got
word.
you. Yeah, that might be good. But yeah, so that's
more
what it's in
also
reference
correct.
to. Yeah, so that's what he's saying. He's like saying, so the next one is like, therefore, Oholiba, this is what the Lord God says. Behold, I'm going to incite your lovers against you, from whom you turned away in disgust, and I will bring them against you from every side. Right? So that's what it is. It's all this kind of imagery.
I'm actually
now
pretty
you-
happy for the context in this one.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
you went whoring, and now we're going to take those that you went whoring after, and we're going to actually destroy you with them. You know?
Uh-huh.
And but you use this harsh language to get the point across.
Even just looking at it now, I'm like,
Well, let's go into a little lighthearted one, shall we?
oh, sorry, I jumped right in. I came in hot.
No, it's good. We'll slowly back out of that.
All right.
You are
So
Tiziana the
we've
hottie.
talked about this in the past.
There you go.
We've talked about this in the past, okay? So in the Gospel of John, it says that after the women went and told the disciples that Jesus had raised from the dead, that Peter and John, or Peter and another disciple, run to the tomb, and that one of them is faster than the other one. You remember how we talked about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
So, but I discovered something. It actually kind of drives it home because this guy says it like 3 or 4 times in a row. So
Okay.
listen to this.
Okay.
So John chapter 20, verse 3-4. So Peter and the other disciple left, and they were going to the tomb. The two were running together, and the other disciple ran ahead faster than Peter and came to the tomb first. Right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now let's go. So verse 6, 2 verses later. So Simon Peter also came following him.
Yeah.
All right.
Just a huffing and a puffing.
And then 2 verses later, so the other disciple who had first come to the tomb also entered in. And so he's kind of like, I'm faster than Peter. It really is. It's almost
Yes.
like, just so you know,
Yes.
I'm faster than Peter.
Yes.
From my perspective, that's not the flex you think it is, bruh.
That's not the what?
It's not the flex you think it is.
No, not at all.
You don't want to be first.
No.
Oh, weird flex, but okay.
Weird flex. I'm faster. Okay.
Oh.
Oh, there we go.
That took you guys a minute. I wonder if the gals had been here if that would have taken so long.
No.
You are coming in
I mean,
really
get it?
hot.
I got it before they did,
Thanks.
but I did not get it right.
I love that though. Like they're
Well,
constantly
first
doing
we're
that
like, how
stuff to each
biblical
other.
is this? And then we're going, okay, she's
Yeah,
repeating
whenever
it
she
again.
was like, I
Yeah.
thought she was going hard
You guys
biblical.
weren't getting
Yes!
it.
I was
No.
thinking for myself, oh, she knows something
No, I
deep.
was
She knows
making-
Greek culture and language.
well, you
making
just
a
propped her
very
up and
basic
made her your
sex joke.
equal.
That's
I'm not saying that's what
That's
she
it.
said, but
Yeah,
not.
I was just making a sex joke.
Okay. that's-
Being fast is not the flex you think it is, buddy.
You got another one?
That was all I said, but Andy's the only one that got it. The heathen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andy's
All right.
got my back.
That's because I'm so pure. Let's just be real. All right, what you got? What's your next one?
Oh, what's my next one? Oh, you want me to keep going after that?
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you wanted something lighter.
I just did something
okay.
lighter.
Oh, that was the something lighter. Okay. All right.
and then you took it to Dirty Town.
I did. So for me personally, the whole entire book of Ecclesiastes. The whole entire book of Ecclesiastes is just full of stuff that just like blows. Like if you again take it out of context, it's just hysterical. Let's just even read, just for fun, I don't know if you're familiar with Ecclesiastes, Andy. Let's read the first.
It's one of my favorite basketball teams.
Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes. It's like the words of the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem. Like, get ready to hear the wisdom. Futility of futilities, says the preacher. Futilities of futilities, all is futilities. Now, if we read that in a different translation, he says, meaningless. Everything is utterly meaningless. That's the opening of that story. And let me just tell you, that refrain repeats several times.
So we're pretty sure that a guy wrote that.
He's just like, all of this is dumb. And that's the whole book.
And that's the book.
But I love
you know
that,
what?
meaningless.
I feel that man. I feel that man on a deep level.
I used to,
Yeah.
there was one that lived at the end of my cul-de-sac when I was a kid. He was just everything. Yeah, everything is awful and it's never good ever. Never.
Well, and another one too, like I
He was a
thought
Baptist?
Yeah. My
9.
English,
I
sorry.
liked this one too. Like, so
Sorry.
even in 9, okay, so this Ecclesiastes 9. Ecclesiastes 9, he's like,
I'm a Baptist, you jerk.
I'm gonna start at 7. He says, "Go, eat your food with gladness, and drink your wine with a joyful heart. For God has already approved what you do. Always be clothed in white, and always anoint your head with oil. Enjoy life with your wife, whom you love. all the days of this meaningless life that God has given you under the sun, all your meaningless days. For this is your lot in life and in your toilsome labor under the sun. Whatever your hand finds to do it with all your might. From the realm of the dead, where you're going. There's neither working, nor planning, nor knowledge, nor wisdom.
Wow.
Is there a special like font in the Bible that you read with extra sarcasm?
No, but I read the whole book of Ecclesiastes that way. My senior graduation quote was Ecclesiastes. Like, there's some good wisdom in there, but I mean, from what I understand, there was like a lot of back and forth about whether or not to even put Ecclesiastes
Well, think
in the
about
canon.
it.
It's hyper condescending.
Condescending?
Yes.
If you take when we
It's
sit in this-
nihilistic, really.
When we sit in this room and we talk, we never really come to the finality of anything. There's always, you know what I mean? Like we never do. Like we're always kind of like, well, then you've got your perspective and this perspective. You know, imagine this man who is obviously brilliant, and he's living he's way ahead of his time, and like he's got rocks to work with, you know, rocks and iron. That's all he's got. He doesn't have like an excavator.
There's not even like a dentist.
He built some of the most opulent structures in the world, by the way.
Wow.
But after all of his work and the 700 wives and the 300 concubines, yeah, he's like,
This is dumb.
This kind of sucks, actually.
This sucks.
What did I do to all this?
All of this sucks. He even says that at one point too. He's just like,
He must have
what's
been
the point?
He must have been hung like a mule.
He might. That's where hung like a mule comes from, isn't it?
Oh my
The flesh
God.
of the donkey. Oh my gosh.
That's an old, yes. That's
Well, I mean,
older than we thought.
That's older than we thought.
Yeah.
Ooh. Charlton coming in. I like that.
Well-
hung like a mule.
Well, I also meant for the fact of Cleopatra that the way she came to him like,
Oh, yeah. The Queen of Sheba.
yeah, Queen Sheba.
Yeah. Yeah. She was breathless. That's what the Bible says.
Oh,
Yeah.
That she was breathless when she saw his whole like kingdom and his whole like deal or whatnot.
And he sent a
Yeah.
fortune back with her, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Oh, yes.
He was like, I got you, girl. he did. Yeah. He knew how to make it drip.
All right, so here,
Stop.
That's
That
not
is a
what she
term
meant.
Yes,
that
it is.
means with jewels.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
Yes.
you, Andy.
Yeah.
Listen,
Andy
clear.
records rappers. He knows
all
what
of
I'm
your
saying.
modern English crap, I know what it sounds like, and I picked up on that dirtiness. No, actually, that one's not dirty.
Yeah,
It really
I know,
wasn't.
I know.
That one
Well,
wasn't.
good.
That one actually wasn't.
All right, I got one for you. Okay, so this one comes out of 1 Samuel chapter 5. When I learned what this was, I lost my mind.
Okay.
All right. Starts off chapter 5, verse 6 through 12. It says, "But the hand of the Lord was heavy upon them of Ashdod, and he destroyed them, and smote them with emerods, even Ashdod and the coasts thereof. And when the men of Ashdod saw that it was so, they said, The ark of the God of Israel shall not abide with us, for his hand is sore upon us, and upon Dagon our God. They sent, therefore, and gathered all the lords of the Philistines unto them, and said, What shall we do with the ark of the God of Israel? And I'll tell you why. It's because that word emerods. But you don't even know what it is?
I
And
don't.
I can't wait.
Oh, okay.
And they answered, Let the ark of the God of Israel be carried about unto Gath. And they carried the ark of the God of Israel about thither. And it was so that after they had carried it about, the hand of the Lord was against the city with a very great destruction. And he smote the men of the city, both small and great, and they had emerods in their secret parts. Therefore, they sent the ark of God to Ekron. And it came to pass, as the ark of God came to Ekron, that the Ekronites cried out, saying, They have brought about the ark of the God of Israel to us to slay us and our people. So they sent and gathered together all the lords of the Philistines and said, Send away the ark of the God of Israel, and let it go again into his own place, that it slay us not and our people. For there was a deadly destruction throughout all the city. The hand of God was very heavy there, and the men that died not were smitten with the emerods, and the cry of the city went up to heaven. Do you know what the emerods are?
What? No, I
Tumors
do.
of the anus.
There you go.
Hemorrhoids.
They're not
Yeah.
emerods, they're hemorrhoids.
Oh my God.
Hardcore tumors of the anus, tumors of the genitals. That's where he attacks them.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, how do they? So these people, they do this. The ark goes back to Jerusalem. if you remember, David, they've got it back right now.
Yes.
Well, not David, but or maybe I can't remember. Anyway, check this out. This is how they had to make atonement for their sin against God.
Yeah.
These are the Philistines. Wherefore, 1 Samuel 6, verse 5, wherefore ye shall make images of your emerods and images of your mice that mar the land, and ye shall give glory unto the God of Israel.
Images of your emerods?
Images of your butthole boils.
Get ready. Peradventure, he will lighten his hand from off of you and from all your gods and from off your land. So check it out. They had to make golden hemorrhoids.
Which is crazy
Yes.
because I remember reading that and it was just translated as boils.
Yeah.
But I never got the in their secret parts. I remember that story.
Right.
When they had to make golden of their boils and other stuff, but no. They had
So I looked up the word,
gave him
and it does. It's
hemorrhoids.
boils, tumors, but specifically of the anus was part of that definition.
that is
So
awesome.
anus tumors.
So how do you think they made those like gold plates? Do you think they all posed for one another?
Oh my gosh. They had to
it's
make
not
like
like-
casts
Or you
first.
just,
This is
like,
and
what
then,
it looks like.
You just
Oh, my
feel around
gracious.
back there and see, and then just kind of do an impressionistic version of
It's
it.
kind of like a cauliflower. Oh, geez. What
Oh.
else you got?
So now that you said that, let's go to Judges 3. Because why not? If that's where we are,
Yeah.
Judges 3. This is a great one.
All right. Let's hear it.
Okay. All right. I got to get there with my thing here. All right. So Judges, as we all remember, sort of like a weird time of sometimes doing good and sometimes doing real bad. And so along comes Judges
I'd love
Judges
to.
3.
I'd just like to say it was sort of a weird time. It's a great way to preface the story.
Yeah.
It was sort of a weird time.
Well, Judges is one of those ones that has two common refrains, and they begun to do like what was right in their own eyes, or they turn back to the Lord. Right? It's just like the Old Testament, or excuse me, the First Kings, Second Kings, that whole period, First and Second Chronicles, that whole period of time where there's a monarchy, and the period of the time the judges that precede the monarchy. Like sometimes Israel's doing the thing right and they're worshiping the Lord their God, and that lasts for a couple of generations, and then all just goes to hell in a handbasket, and everybody's just like it's just mayhem.
Yes.
And
Doing right in
so-
their own eyes.
Yeah, it's just total mayhem, right? And so Judges 3:12 through 30. This is a long story, but hang with me because it's completely worth it. So
I
this
can't wait.
is the story of Ehud.
Can you do it in a British voice? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I wish I could.
Can you read it
honestly.
like Snoop Dogg?
No, I
No.
can't.
With the
I
Izzle?
can't with the Izzles in it against the Israelites. Did
Israel.
evil in
The
the eyes of the
Israelites.
Izzle.
The
Yeah.
Israelites.
The Israelites. Yeah, okay. So again, the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord because it's the time of the judges and they just can't help themselves.
Right.
And because they did this evil, the Lord gave Eglon, king of Moab, power over Israel. Getting the Amorites, the Amalekites, to join him, Eglon came and attacked Israel and they took possession of the city of Psalms. The Israelites were subject to Eglon, king of Moab, for about 18 years. So they cry out to the Lord, and he gives them a deliverer, Ehud, a left-handed man. Significant.
Okay.
That's right.
The son of Gera, the Benjamite. The Israelites sent him with tribute to Eglon, king of Moab, because that's what, when a king came and like occupied your space, like you paid your taxes, right? So Israel's got to give their taxes to this guy that's like, been squatting in their kingdom for 18 years.
Right.
Now, Ehud, the guy who they had chosen, the Benjamite, he makes this double-edged sword about a cubit long, which he strapped to his right thigh under his clothing. He left hand, right thigh. He presented the tribute to Eglon, king of Moab. He was a very fat man.
Yes.
After Ehud,
It actually says
Job
that.
of the Hutt.
no, I'm reading.
a very
he
fat
was
man.
very fat man. After Ehud had
That was
presented the
sexy back
tribute,
then.
after Ehud had presented
Nice
the tribute.
try.
I know it didn't. It landed very flat.
Doesn't work for me either.
Well, anyway, so but after Ehud, it's not a bonus for Ehud. It works out poorly in his favor. After Ehud had presented, or for Eglon, after Ehud had presented the tribute, he sent on their way those who had carried it. But on reaching the stone images near Gilgal, he himself went back to Eglon and said, "Your Majesty, I have a secret message for you." The king said to his attendants, "Leave us," and they all left. So he has this whole subterfuge. Subterfuge.
I've never heard it said that way. That's great.
So
I like that.
So the king says to his attendants, leave us, and they all leave. So Ehud then approached him while he was sitting alone in the upper room of his palace and said, I have a message from God for you. As the king rose from his seat, Ehud reached with his left hand, drew the sword from his right thigh, and plunged it into the king's belly. Even the handle sank in after the blade, and his bowels discharged. He done shat his pants.
You think?
They say that. They really want this guy to be humiliated. The recorders of judges really want to embarrass this guy. He was like, he was fat, and then he pooped his pants. Right?
And they make him sound like he's literally made of jello. Like he stabbed
like
it with
he
a sword.
carved. Yeah.
And like it sucked the hilt in. We
This
don't
is
even know
nothing
how.
more than an ancient version of Return of the Jedi.
It's so exactly. That's where they got it.
Yeah.
So even
Jabba
the
the
handle,
Hutt.
even the handle sank in after the blade, and his bowels discharged.
And he didn't even go through the other
Ehud
side.
did not pull the sword out, and the fat closed in over it.
Oh my
Nice.
God.
Just swallowed it. Then Ehud went out to the porch. He shut the doors of the upper room behind him and locked them. This is the best. After he had gone, the servants came and found the doors of the upper room locked, and they said, well, he must be relieving himself in the inner room of the
Sure
palace.
is.
Like he could get up
They
and lock the door.
waited to the point of embarrassment. Oh, he's really dropping a deuce in there. Like, they got to the point where
The
they were
author
like,
wants you to
"He
know
might
they
need
were
some
waiting
help."
around. Yeah, this guy's really got some stuff
Okay.
going on down there.
All right, I'm going to tell you a story.
He had
So,
hemorrhoids.
my nice. My kiddo one time when she was learning how to potty train, we went on a long road trip to Raleigh and she got a little backed up. And when you have a child, you do all kinds of stuff. So I remember she was sitting there like crying because she's like basically like pooping a gyroscope now. Like the thing was, I felt so bad for her. So I had to kind of like reach under and just kind of like hold the sides of her butt, so that she had something to push against because she doesn't know any better yet. And now this is when she's like 1.5. Now sometimes she'll go, Mama. I'm like, she's like, can you hold my butt? And I'm like, no, that was a one-time deal. I did not enjoy it, but it was the only way she was going to. So these guys are going, someone's going to have to go in there and hold his butt. Like, these guys are they're like, it's been like
It's your turn.
hour and
No,
a
it's your
half.
turn.
I mean, how long does it have to be to where
The point of embarrassment sets in.
the point of embarrassment? The Bible says it. The author was like, they had to wait along to the point of embarrassment. I mean, like, how
For
long
an
is that?
eternity.
There's been times where I'm like, Dylan, are you okay?
Yeah, exactly.
If you live with a man. If you live with a man.
Were you going to say if you're the proud owner of a man?
I was going to say if you're the proud owner of a husband, but lots of people live with a man that ain't their husband. So I thought I would just pull back and not say that. But if you live with a dude, like there have been times in your life where you're like, are they okay in there?
Yeah, exactly.
Like you almost want to like turn the internet off just to see what will happen. Like you just want to like go cut the Wi-Fi to see if they're like, hey, turn that back on, just because you want to know if they're still okay, in there. But yeah, so anyway, so to the point of embarrassment, but when he did not open the doors of the room, they took a key and unlocked them. There they saw their Lord fallen on the floor dead. So while they waited, of course, while they were waiting to the point of embarrassment, they think he's just in there shitting himself to death. Or trying to and not succeeding. Ehud has gone back to his home and everything is great. And there's a battle and whatnot. But the death of Eglin is just like a great, weird,
That's hilarious.
weird story.
Check this out.
Eglon, sorry.
Eglon, yeah.
Eglon
All right.
and
So I'm going to
Ehud.
go. I'm staying in 1 Samuel, okay? I'm in 1 Samuel
Okay.
18.
Cool.
Starting at verse 22. Then Saul commanded his servants, speak to David in secret, saying, behold, the king delights in you, and all his servants love you. Now then, become the king's son-in-law. So Saul's servants spoke these words to David. But David said, is it trivial in your sight to become the king's son-in-law, since I am only a poor man and insignificant? Then Saul's servants reported to him, saying, these are the words David spoke. Saul then said, this is what you shall say to David. The king does not desire any dowry except 100 foreskins of the Philistines to take vengeance on the king's enemies. So you don't have to be rich. Just cut 100 Foreskins. But Saul plotted to have David fall by the hand of the Philistines. So this is a trick, right? When his servants told David these words, it pleased David to become the king's son-in-law, because now he sees
Now
a way
he's going to
through it.
marry the girl, and that's going to be all good.
So before the time had expired,
So now he's happy to go play with men.
he's a moil.
Yeah.
David set out and went, he and his men, and fatally struck 200 men among the Philistines. Then David brought their foreskins, and they presented all 200 of them to the king, so that he might become the king's son-in-law. And Saul gave him his daughter Michal as a wife. So what is this saying? He said, go cut the foreskin off these dudes, bring it to me. That's good enough for a dowry. David is poor. He doesn't have a whole lot of money anyway, so he sees an opportunity.
What he does have is the ability to commit mass murder.
Yeah.
and then mutilate just a lot of dead bodies.
And bring it to the king and gets the
Hopefully
woman.
they were dead.
yeah, hopefully dead bodies.
Well, it says they were dead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't, they could have
Been
done
in
it
the
prior to
throes
death,
of it.
maybe. You know?
Good night. What a weird. The Bible is so weird. It is so weird.
But David is a man after God's own heart.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? The Bible
No,
says
no,
it.
So do you take that literally or figuratively?
It wasn't really 1,000 foreskins. That's just how they talk about, fullness, completion.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's just 140
No, it means
is
the
the number
cutting
of
off of
completion.
something important.
Yeah.
You know? That's good. Do you
That
got any
was-
more?
That was eschatological.
Do I have any more?
Yeah.
You know what I've always thought was weird? Now, once again, we're just sort of like chit chatting, and we're gonna get out of the gutter here for a second. There's no more wiener talk. At least not in this one.
Man, I've got like 18 left to go.
Well,
all about wieners.
They're all about wieners. I only have two more.
All right, let's hear it.
Jeremiah 2:23 and 5:7-8, which again I think it probably has to do with like emissions and hung like mules and whatnot. But let's take a break from that. Mark, now everyone knows this story. Mark 11, and again we're talking about if you take it out of context, right?
Yeah.
So if you're just gonna read it outside, right? Okay. So Mark 11. So Jesus, oh no, that's not right. Yeah. Jesus entered Jerusalem and went into the temple courts. He looked around at everything, but since it was already late, he went out to Bethany with the 12. And the next day, as they were leaving Bethany, Jesus was hungry. Seeing in the distance a fig tree and leaf, he went to find out if it had any fruit. When he reached it, he found nothing but leaves because it was not the season for figs. So he said to the tree, "May no one ever eat fruit from you again." And his disciples heard him say it. On reaching Jerusalem, Jesus entered the temple courts, blah, 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 blah. And then in the morning, as they went along, they saw that the fig tree withered from the root. And Peter remembered what the Lord had said and said, "Look, the fig tree withered from the root." And then Jesus tells this whole thing. But I'm like, Jesus, that is so petty. Jesus, like, what are you doing, brother? Like, he's like, I'm really super hungry. And he goes to the grocery store, and the grocery store is all out of the Takis that he likes. And so he's like, this Ingles is going to shut down and be closed forever. Where are the Fuego Takis? Like, they only have that nacho trash.
Yeah. Now, Rick, tell us the context.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we do that.
I mean,
when
we
we're
can
being
talk about
silly,
the
tell us what the
context.
context is. Rick, tell us. What's the context?
Oh, the context of the fig tree?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
All right, now.
Why'd you call him Rick? You guys give me a hard time because it's Charlton.
It's both.
No, it's Charlton R. Carter III.
He goes by
But he
Rick.
goes by
right?
Rick.
Yeah, he goes by Rick.
Why have I been trying so hard to call you Charlton?
Because my name is Rick.
Because
I
nobody
am
knows
so
how
confused.
to. Yeah.
Nobody knows how to address this man. All right, human being to the direct right of me wearing the sick mullet wig. What name do you
shake my
like to
head
be
back and
called?
What do you want to be called?
What do you want me to call you, Daddy? What do you like
Call me Daddy.
to be called?
Man,
No,
shoe fits.
you have to pick a name.
You have-
sir.
You can
call me
You
Rick.
have so many names. Rick,
call
you
me
want to be
Rick.
called Rick?
You can call me Rick.
Okay.
I just call him the Rickening to keep a separation from me, but you
Well,
can call
and
him
now
whatever
I'm
you
like,
want.
I'm all confused. Okay, because I'm like
they were
Charlton, Rick,
calling-
and I hear everybody say everything, and so now I think
That's
I'm like,
because everybody's doing it to try to keep the designation
So here's
separate.
the thing. Sarita
Yes.
called me Rick OG,
okay,
and him.
Well, I guess from the listener standpoint,
that makes sense.
when you say Rick,
They don't know who you're talking to.
Yes.
That's what we're doing.
Okay.
That's all they're doing.
Yeah. All right. Resume. We want to talk
Okay,
about the with
the
and under
fig
the
tree.
leaves. Well, the
Yeah.
fig tree. And again, there is context.
There-
It's
of
completely
course
fine.
there is,
but
but
if you
it's-
don't
but
know
you're
that
right.
context, you're like, Jesus,
Like,
so petty.
yeah, it's like burning an apple orchard because you're in,
Yeah, you like show up in
February.
the middle of winter. Yeah.
Yeah.
What you got?
I hope I can get this right in the moment because my mind's been all in this
Yeah.
different ways. But it was also in figurative terms. It was referring to Israel that they had not been producing the fruit that they were supposed to be producing,
Yeah.
and he was there to basically to judge Israel for the fact of not doing that.
Yeah.
And he was trying to portray that to the disciples and the people that was with him, that it was referenced. Now, I'm sure at some point in time, just like they got done with after Matthew 23, when he told all the Pharisees in their home place,
Yeah.
basically cussed them out
Yep.
in better terms. And then what happens immediately is that the disciples go, hey Jesus, what'd you mean by all that?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
They're like, bro, that was rough.
I mean,
Yeah.
so when and it's like they had been with him the whole time. Hey, when's this going to happen? Really?
Yeah.
So he's always in figurative terms referring to what's going on,
So it was like a metaphor about
Yes.
Israel. Okay.
referring back to Israel.
Yes, absolutely.
And then
Oh, yeah. All right, guys. Here we go.
Ooh, where? Reference.
Acts chapter 20.
Okay.
Do you have that one?
No,
All
but
right. On the first day of the week, when we were gathered together to break bread, Paul began talking to them, intending to leave the next day, and he prolonged his message until midnight. There were many lamps in the upstairs room where we were gathered together, and there was a young man named Eutychus sitting on the windowsill, sinking into a deep sleep, and as Paul kept on talking, Eutychus was overcome by sleep, fell down 3 stories, and was picked up dead. Have you ever been bored to death during a sermon?
he was so
Don't
yeah,
sit
he
on the
was
third
so
floor.
bored.
have you ever been
That
bored
he
in a
died.
podcast?
He literally died. Oh,
Crash your car? Seriously.
that's
This-
funny.
Paul's
I know.
talking.
He
Now,
was
of course,
so bored.
yeah.
he
So
died.
this young man named Eutychus falls down and dies during one of Paul's sermons.
Wow.
But then Paul runs over and raises him from the
Right.
dead.
He's like, it's okay, buddy.
Real
You're
lives
making me
him.
look bad.
He's like,
Real
that
lives him.
sermon was kind of making me bored too, quite frankly.
Yes, exactly.
You get a freebie for that.
Yeah. What
That's a
else you
good
got
one.
there? What else you got?
I got some in Jeremiah, but I don't remember what it was. So I got to go look at it. So I can't even
Well,
preface
while you're
this
looking
with
for it,
anything.
let me
Yeah.
do this little. We like to do those proverbs in here sometimes. You ready? Here's a
Oh, yeah. The
Proverbs 26:18. Like a maniac who shoots flaming arrows, and death, so is a person who deceives his neighbor and says, "Was I not joking?"
What does that even mean?
It's the first ancient prank.
It's
It's a prank.
Yeah,
It's just
I was
like somebody kicks you in the shin and they're like, jokes, am I right?
Right.
Hey, jokes. Jokes.
Yeah. Kids do joke.
Am I right?
yeah.
Yeah. Your mother is a whore.
Jokes, man.
Oh yeah. So back to like describing Israel's fidelity or lack thereof in terms of like, wild animals. This is another one. Yeah. Comparing. Here's another one. This is another Jeremiah 2. How can you say I am not defiled? I have not run after the Baals. See how you behaved in the valley. Consider what you have done. You are a swift she-camel, running here and there, a wild donkey accustomed to the desert, sniffing the wind in her craving. In her heat, who can restrain her? Any males that pursue her need not tire themselves. At mating time, they will find her.
Ooh.
What?
Oh my god.
Baby, you hot like a she-camel. like a wild donkey. Can you imagine?
Ooh, I like
She
your
get-
scent. I
it
can
lifts-
smell your musk.
I can smell your musk. You she-camel.
You she-camel.
You she-camel.
Oh my
what?
gosh. That's
Get out of
good.
here.
That'd be a perfect pickup line.
Yes. You want to hear another proverb?
Yeah.
All right,
Proverbs are good.
A whip for the horse, a bridle
Yeah.
for the ass, and a rod for the fool's back.
Yeah. That's
There
a
you
good
go.
one.
That's just good. That's just good.
You know what? In reality, I haven't checked.
I did it because it said ass.
That's a good one though. But I haven't checked into this. But like, I think we should just sort of like. I'm going to sit here and just lightly peruse the Song of Solomon because
Go right
honestly,
ahead.
there are some. We got like a couple of really good ones.
Well,
but,
let
you
me
know,
read this one here while you're perusing. So this, you guys have heard us talk about this before, but I'm going to read it in the context. This is Exodus chapter 32, 1-6. Moses has been up on the mountain getting the 10 commandments, and his brother Aaron was left in charge, and all the people are down there, and they're like, hey, he's not coming back. We need a God to worship. So they bring him this. Now, when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down from the mountain, the people assembled around Aaron and said to him, come, make us a God who will go before us. For this Moses, the man who brought us up from the land of Egypt, we do not know what happened to him. Aaron said to them, tear off the gold rings which are in the ears of your wives. Not take them out nicely.
No.
Tear off them from your wives, your sons and your daughters. Notice, gold rings were in the sons' ears. And your daughters, and bring them to me. So all the people tore off the gold rings which were in their ears and brought them to Aaron. Then he took the gold from their hands and fashioned it with an engraving tool and made it into a cast metal calf. And as Tiziano says, that took a minute.
that took a minute.
That took a minute.
They spent some time.
So the next day, they got up early and offered. So, no, hold on. I missed a part. They said, this is your God, Israel, who brought you up from the land of Egypt. Talking about the calf. Now, when Aaron saw this, he built an altar in front of it. That took another minute. And Aaron made a proclamation and said, tomorrow shall be a feast to the Lord. So the next day, they got up early and offered burnt offerings and brought peace offerings. And the people sat down to eat and to drink and got up to engage in lewd behavior.
Ew.
Now, watch this. So Moses comes back down.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like,
They're
what?
And when the cats, what does it say? When the
cat's away, the mice will play.
So that's what's
Can you
going on.
imagine?
Imagine what kind of lewd behavior is going on. They're worshiping this metal cow. All right, here we go. Exodus 32:21. It says, then Moses said to Aaron, what did this people do to you that you have brought such a great sin upon them? And Aaron said, do not let the anger of my Lord burn. You know the people yourself, and they are prone to evil. For they said to me, make a God for us who will go before us. For this Moses, the man who brought us up from the land of Egypt, we do not know what happened to him. So I said to them, whoever has any gold, let them tear it off. Then they gave it to me. I threw it in the fire, and out came this calf.
I didn't do it.
This is the high priest of Israel.
Yes.
Yeah,
This is
I
the
love
high
that
priest
story.
of Israel, man. This is Aaron, the brother of Moses.
It's ridiculous.
And he goes,
He's like,
and out popped this calf.
It just came right. I just tumbled
popped-
out the fire.
I said, bring me the gold. We'll go throw it in the fire. And out popped this calf.
Now,
Moses, you said you was going to be right back.
He was gone a long time. If it
Like
had
a-
get all of the gold,
like a
40
month.
days.
melt the
40 days and nights
fortune.
without
Yeah.
eating or drinking.
Long time. Now, just the nerd in me, when we're like, what was our lewd behavior? These people had just come out of slavery in Egypt. So they were likely engaging in the sorts of religious
Oh my
worships that they had
gosh.
seen
Oh, yeah.
happen in Egypt,
Yeah,
which
they were
included
used to.
sacred prostitution.
Sure.
So that's probably
Oh
what
yeah,
they're doing.
throwback to
Yeah,
sacred
a lot of-
prostitution.
I
Find
have an
something
idea.
in-
I have an idea.
They had to eat that.
Next time,
Yeah, they did.
And they died. A lot of
Yeah.
them died.
Yep.
They had to eat it.
Well, the tablets. You talking about the tablets of stone and then the gold calf when they melted it down?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They had
Yeah,
to
it's
eat
pretty
that
wild.
poison.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So what you got?
Well, I just want any of you male listeners out there that are looking for a great biblical pickup line.
Aha.
You can just say to your lady, "Hey, baby."
Hey, lady.
This comes
It's
straight from the
dust,
Song
lady.
of Solomon.
Oh, yeah.
1:9. I liken you, my darling, to a mare among Pharaoh's chariot
Yes.
horses.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, my.
Can you do a,
Oh my
a modern
gosh.
version of that? What would be a modern version? Like, I liken you
You
to a
hey
Ford
you look
Taurus
Yeah.
next to the president's limousine.
now you look like one of them Budweiser horses. You're pretty like a Budweiser horse.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How about as pretty as that woman on the Bud Light can?
I just cannot.
Ooh, did I
the
just
Song of
touch-
Solomon, I'm reading more of it now. It's just such a good.
This just took a left
turn.
turn.
Yeah.
All right. I've got another one if you don't.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. This comes from the book of Acts. And this is probably it for me. And then you got some puns, don't you?
I do.
All right, good. Let's get here. So Acts chapter 12. Let me take Acts chapter 12, verse 6. On the very night when Herod was about to bring him forward, this is after Jesus' death, and this is when Peter's leading the disciples. Peter was sleeping between two soldiers, bound with two chains, and guards in front of the door were watching over the prison.
Oh, yeah.
And behold, an angel of the Lord suddenly stood near Peter, and a light shone in the cell. And he struck Peter's side and woke him, saying, "Get up quickly." And his chains fell off his hands. And the angel said to him, "Put on your belt and strap on your sandals." And he did so. And he said to him, "Wrap your cloak around you and follow me." And he went out and continued to follow. And yet he did not know that what was being done by the angel was real, but thought he was seeing a vision. Now, when they had passed the first and second guard, they came to the iron gate that leads into the city, which opened for them by itself. And they went out and went along one street, and immediately the angel departed from him. When Peter came to himself, he said, "Now I know for sure that the Lord has sent forth his angel and rescued me from the hand of Herod and from all that the Jewish people were expecting." And when he realized this, he went to the house of Mary, the mother of John, who was also called Mark, where many were gathered together and were praying. When he knocked at the door of the gate, a slave woman named Rhoda came to answer. When she recognized Peter's voice, because of her joy, she did not open the gate, but ran in and announced that Peter was standing in front of the gate. They said to her, "You are out of your mind."
Go let
But
him
she
in.
kept insisting that it was so. They said, "It is his angel." But Peter continued knocking. And when they had opened the door, they saw him and were amazed.
I love that. He's like, I love that. It's like you see that shtick in comedy all the time where someone opens the door and goes, "Ah, it's you," and then
Yeah.
shuts the door in his face.
You know what
Yeah,
I think
totally.
is funny? Where did the angel have to go in such a hurry? Couldn't he have opened the other gate and just let him in the room?
Yeah, like, no problems,
hey,
Bob.
I got you
Yeah,
out of
like,
the prison. All of these
The
gates are
rest
opening.
is up to you.
You
Yeah.
think you're in a dream? I got you to this gate. Oh,
Everybody
I gotta go,
gets
bro.
one.
It's lunch.
Everybody
Break.
gets one.
Night,
Yeah.
Ralph. Night, Sam.
Yeah, night, Ralph. See you tomorrow. Oh, that's great.
The angel was done for the night.
Or
Like there wasn't enough magic going on that Peter didn't realize something pretty miraculous is happening.
Yeah, except for the fact
He's-
he's like, I still have to knock on the door.
He's so numb to everything. He's like,
I know what Peter
I
said.
don't believe this.
Oi.
Oi!
Oi, would you open the door?
I love it.
I love it.
You can keep it knocking, but you can't come in.
What else you got?
I got so many. All right, so
I need some more.
we've already discussed how silly it is that her teeth were like two sheep coming up from the wash, just shorn, each had its
Yes.
own, right?
Yeah.
But if you
Put a little fuzz on
continue,
those teeth.
Yeah.
if you continue, you know,
Did that mean
your
they were
temples
gapped?
behind your veil are like the halves of a pomegranate, and this is great. Your neck is like the Tower of David, built with courses of stone. On it hang 1,000 shields, all of them shields of worth. So she's a brick.
Yeah. I'm just imagining a woman with Arnold Schwarzenegger's neck.
Right?
You know,
Yeah,
just
like veins popping out
I'll
and
do
stuff.
96, you know,
Yeah.
or
She's
whatever.
Mate. She's got a really big neck.
But there's more. He's
She's
like,
thick.
then your breasts are like two fawns, like twin fawns of a gazelle that browse among the lilies. That would
They're
freak me
bouncy.
out.
They're
That would
bouncy,
scare-
bro.
Oh, okay, bouncy.
yeah.
That would scare me. Like if someone's like a woman's just sitting there, and all of a sudden like a little face, like a little gazelle pops out of her bra and is like, "What's up?" and then goes right back down. Just go back to do what it's doing.
I'd be like, got a
Like-
piece of grass and just like walk up to it.
Yeah,
I'd
like
be like,
that would be.
check, please.
Yeah, that would not
They were
do
bouncy
it.
like
That would not do it for me.
gazelles.
But yeah,
Isn't that sweet?
her neck, that's
So
my
much
favorite
love.
one. Her neck is like the Tower of David built of stone.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Stiff necked is not like it's not a compliment in
No.
the history of the Bible. So,
No, it's not.
You
Not at
know.
all.
I mean, you can say nice things about etched like a marble statue, maybe, but when you
Yeah.
start to compare a woman to a tower of stone,
with shields hanging on it,
Yeah.
like with the shields of enemies or whatever. What does he say? What is it? I can't remember. It's
I
something
can't
else.
remember.
and
With
the occasional
shields of
head is a
something.
warning.
I was
Yeah,
so
yeah,
big.
yeah.
I'm
On
still
it
thinking
hang
about those
1,000
gazelles
shields.
bouncing.
All of you, them shields of warriors. What happened to the warriors? Where'd they go?
They were held up
What?
erect.
They're stuck in her neck. They're like in the tower. Like she's like, oh,
Oh,
And cut. So Let's hear some Bible puns, Mr. Carter.
Oh, boy. What did Jonah's family say when he told them about what happened before he reached Nineveh?
Sounds fishy. Was I right?
Yes.
Oh, I guessed it. That's good.
Sounds fishy.
I'm never gonna get it. I'm bad at puns.
Let's hear it.
What was Moses' wife Zephora known as when she threw dinner parties?
Say that one more time.
What was Moses' wife Zephora known as when she threw dinner parties?
I don't know.
The hostess with Moses.
The hostess with the Moses.
Oh my
Got
god!
it.
I was trying to come up with like a flint knife joke. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Why couldn't the
Or his
Israelites
genitals.
initially enter the promised land?
I don't know.
It wasn't the pinky promised land.
Oh my gosh.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I that one.
It's just about promising.
Just the promised
Pinky
land?
promise.
You pinky
Oh,
promise.
so I didn't.
your
Because I
kids
didn't
will
pinky
wanna-
promise. I don't have to
Yes.
I can renege.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Gotcha.
I don't understand what the pinky promise has to do with Jews, though. Is that like a
The
Jew?
promise.
no,
the
but-
promised land was for the Jews.
Uh huh.
Yeah, and so
But their
they
whole-
lost it because it wasn't a pinky promise.
And
just silliness.
It's a kid thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kids that they if it's a pinky, if you shake by pinkies,
then it's like you have to.
yeah,
Well, and
yeah.
also
it's
like,
like a blood covenant.
yeah, like they lost the promised land. They don't have it anymore. So
Yes.
it's kind of like too soon, really. That's like how many Irish people? How many potatoes does it take to kill an Irishman? Zero.
Oh my god, that's so good. Oh, I love dark jokes, and that one is excellent.
Oh my god, that was great. All right, what else you got there, buddy?
What did pirates call Noah's boat?
But
The Ark.
oh,
Good one.
Oh man, these are so classic.
Yes, they are.
that's pretty good.
Why didn't anyone want to fight Goliath?
I don't know.
Let's see. I don't know.
It seemed like a giant ordeal.
Yeah, play on the giant.
Which king liked to do things on his own?
I don't know.
Solomon.
Oh my gosh.
That is so lame.
These are great. Makes me happy.
What kind of car would Jesus drive?
What kind of car would Jesus drive?
Yes,
I don't know.
I don't know.
a Chrysler.
Oh yeah. Well, I always said that the disciples, went around in one accord.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's right.
How do you know that Adams are Catholic? How do you know that Adams are Catholic?
Like atoms.
Eight.
Atoms.
Like, how do I know that they're Catholic?
Yes. How do you know they're Catholic?
I don't know.
They have mass.
Ah,
Man.
what? These are great.
What did Daniel tell his real estate agent?
Den, lions. I don't know.
I'd prefer a house with no den.
Oh yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good Bible joke.
Who in the Bible knew the most people?
I don't know.
Abraham knew a lot.
Knew a lot. All right, one more.
Let me see. What did Adam say to Eve when handing her something to wear?
Stand back. I don't know how big this is going to get.
That's the punchline to a different joke, but a good
That
joke.
is the punchline to a
works.
different
Yeah.
joke.
So sorry.
Yeah, good joke. Though.
So what did Adam say to Eve when he was handing her something to wear?
I don't know.
Take it or leave it.
Oh.
Andy, you got any dirty jokes? No, just kidding. So, well, that was it for this one. We'll come back for some more.
Ba-dum-bum.
There's a bunch of them in the pseudepigrapha writings, actually. They're
Is there?
hilarious.
I bet there are.
Man,
Wait,
it gets,
oh.
boy.
You mean the
Puns?
Apocrypha?
Yeah, bad jokes.
Yes.
Yeah, no, just a lot of like wild
Weird
stories.
stuff. Yeah, I'm sure.
There's one in Tobit. I can't remember it exactly, but we'll probably pick that one up on the next one.
Okay.
And we did that was like 2 years ago, so we'll do this 2 years from now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Every couple years,
Yeah.
dig out all the bad puns.
If that's open ground, then yeah, I know I've read some stories that are pretty cool.
They are pretty wild.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Rick, thanks for driving all the way
Oh,
up here
yeah.
from Columbia.
Exciting.
Tiziana, thanks for taking
Yeah.
the long way here.
Yeah.
Glad you made it. Andy, it's always
It was
great.
it was a difficult commute, but I did my best.
Yes, from the house to the studio.
The whole like 15 feet.
Yeah, it's got to be like 30.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening, guys. We will talk
Love
to
it.
you next time on the Burros of Berea.
Woo.
Bye.
out.
Later.
Hey guys, this is Rick from the Burros of Berea. Do you know how much blood, sweat, and tears it takes to make a podcast? None. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't cost a lot. And so if you guys don't mind, if anybody would like to give to help us with these episodes, it would be great. We'll put out even more content. And if you go to our Patreon page, just search for the Burros of Berea, you'll get extra notes, extra episodes, and it's pretty much free. $1 gets you a lot. Thanks, guys. Just broke my phone.
But that sucks.
Not my phone, but my case. I can buy another.
But
Yeah, that's-
Oh,
If you're gonna
just
break
broke
one.
it some more. That's neat.
All right, the Hulk, calm down.
Jiminy Christmas.
Jiminy Christmas.
Sorry, yes, my daughter potentially having a debilitating and life-ending
Good one,
disease
Andy.
on the back burner for a second while we focus on the phone stuff. But she's-
Listen,
anyway,
my phone matters.
that's
okay?
why I didn't get as much of a chance to research, the verses. I think she's fine, but we
Yeah.
have to test
Good,
again in July.
good.
Yeah.
Well, keep us posted, please.
Yeah, will do. But so I only got like 5 verses. But
Oh.
one of them that has like bothered me.
Did you listen
since
to
I was
our
a
original
child.
one?
I went back and listened to it, and we've hit on so many of those later on, just for shits.
Yeah,
like
we
so much
actually
of that
have.
stuff. Like you even mentioned the genitals being a euphemism for feet, or feet being a
That's right.
euphemism for genitals.
Yeah.
We talked about
Yeah.
that.
That came from the interlude.
2 years
Yeah.
later,
Yeah.
and it's it showed up there. And like we just recently got into the Song of Solomon around these parts, did we not? Yeah, because Sarita brought it up at one of the other.
If you guys would do a study on it, I thought it would be awesome if you could just break it down. But anyway,
Oh,
let's get
that'd
into
be
this.
great. I love that because that book is so hilarious to me.